It was a very busy morning at the city. Everyone was getting ready for the big freeze next week. People were being taken from in and out of the city, and goods were being hauled from factories to the city in order to stay warm for the freeze. Meanwhile, Jeffrey was getting his orders from Mr. Cartwell, the station master. "Jeffrey, I want you to haul a goods train from the yard to the city. The people need to be warm throughout the winter. Also, I hope you don't go very fast on the rails. They're already starting to get slick from the cold." "Yes, sir," said Jeffrey, and he went off to start his day. When he got to the yard, he was happy to see his cars already shunted into one consist. Jeffrey's friend Bob the shunter came up to talk to him before he departed. "Make sure you're careful on the rails out there, Jeffrey. They're all starting to get frozen over. If you go too fast, you can derail." "Oh, I was told, but I can't promise I'm going to run very slow. I'm already starting to get a little late because there was some traffic on the way over here." "Oh, that's the whistle. I better get going. I'll see you later." Jeffrey wasted no time getting going. He knew he was late and couldn't be any later. He had to be to the city as early as he could in order to drop off his supplies. But Bob had one more thing to say. "Oh, Jeffrey," he yelled. "You can't take the scenic route. It's way too slippery over there." But Jeffrey couldn't hear him. He was too far away and his bell was too loud. Bob just had to trust that he heard him. "Icy rails, slow speeds, pah!" he said frustratedly. "I'm already late as it is. The people need your goods so they don't freeze over the winter. We don't want as many casualties as we had last winter," he said, and he sped up. As he sped along his line, he started to notice that his rails were starting to get a little slipperier. "Maybe they were right. Maybe I should start slowing down," he said. But something was wrong. He felt it. As more and more clouds started rolling in, Jeffrey had to pick up some more crew members from the station. Hudson had dropped him off and had been sitting there for a while and was understandably frustrated. "Where the hell have you been? I've been sitting here for 30 minutes with your damn crew," he said angrily. "Well, I'm sorry, but the cold is making it a little difficult to go fast right now. You should know this," he said. "Well, if I were you, I would have been here a full 10 minutes earlier," he said, really frustratedly this time. "Well, not all of us are able to reach 100 miles an hour consistently like you," Jeffrey boomed back. "Pah! Limits are just a state of the mind," he yelled. "Well, maybe I'll just go top speed from here to the city." "Oh, yeah?" "Yeah." "Well, then maybe you should." "Well, then maybe I will," he yelled back. "You shouldn't let your anger get the best of you here, Jeffrey," said his driver. "I'd like to be alive to see my family and kids tonight." "Well, I have to prove this big jerk wrong," said Jeffrey, and took off at full throttle. He couldn't just let the big bully win over. He had to go fast to the city so he wouldn't be late and prove everyone that he can do this, regardless of icy rails or not. At this point, Jeffrey had already forgotten about the cold temperatures and slick rails. He insisted they run full throttle the full rest of the journey, no matter the circumstance. "Well, I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to show him what an idiot he is. How dare he doubt me like that?" Jeffrey said, very angrily, as he continued speeding along his line. "I can get there early." But there was trouble up ahead. There was a switch that was set to the coal mine, and no one was there to change the switch. "Whoa! Help!" said Jeffrey. But no one was there to help him, and he rocketed down the line. The coal mine lay just up ahead, and Jeffrey was coming up at uncontrollable speeds. He couldn't slow down due to the slickness of the rails. "Hey, watch your speed!" said Daryl, very angrily. But little did he know it, Jeffrey couldn't. The driver tried applying sand on the wheels, but it would take them a little while to get the traction they need in order to slow down. It was uncontrollable. Up ahead, there was a little coal mine that marked the end of the line. And behind the coal mine was a set of buffers. And behind the buffers was a building filled with workers excited to go home. Jeffrey started to brace for impact, but the driver threw back the reverser and turned off the emergency brake. It had worked, and hundreds of lives were saved. But Mr. Cartwell was understandably very upset. Later that evening, Mr. Cartwell spoke sternly with Jeffrey. "Damn it, Jeffrey," he said. When he said damn it, you knew something was terribly wrong. "I thought I could trust that you wouldn't be speeding on the main line, but you did anyways. You almost cost us millions of dollars in damages. What do you have to say for yourself?" he said very sternly. "I'm sorry," Jeffrey said. "But it seemed like I couldn't really go up to the task of delivering the goods to a city, considering the fact that Hudson said I wasn't fast enough. I decided I'd try to prove him wrong by going fast, but I almost crashed," he said apologetically. "Well, as much as it is Hudson's fault for tempting you, it is also as much as your fault for letting your anger get the best of you. You should be smart enough to know that doing that is not very smart and could have dire consequences just like this one," he said. But suddenly, his mood shifted. "I also did notice that you were able to hold a very high speed for a very long time. I'm starting to realize that that could be used for mainline service. That's why, starting tomorrow, for temporary use, I will be starting you on the commuter service." "Oh, thank you, sir," Jeffrey said very happily. He was very happy that things didn't go very terrible for him. He knew he didn't do anything wrong. The next day, he was happily pulling his commuter service at very high speeds, but very efficiently also. Passengers were happy with the service. He had learned not to let his anger get the best of him, as it could possibly lead to dire consequences, as Mr. Cartwell had said. No matter how rude a person is, stay nice. It could very well just benefit you.